talk about, just real quick, how this is like Instagram versus reality here in my gym shorts. In my gym shorts! Fitting that I'm in my gym shorts for this video. Hi guys! So as you can see from the title, today we are talking about my fitness journey. It's taken me a long time to film this video because I don't know, so many people ask about my fitness and my journey only because I do post about it and it is such a huge part of my life. Working out, the way I eat, I do put a huge emphasis on it in my life, but probably for reasons that are completely different than what you're used to. You know, I work out and I eat this way because of my mental health. It's taken me a really long time to get to a healthy place when it comes to diet, nutrition, working out. For a long time it wasn't healthy. So I'm gonna kind of get into that. I feel like they are relatable and maybe you can find some sort of inspiration in my story or relate to it in some sort of way. To start at the beginning, I grew up with a mother that was very, very fitness focused, and she was a personal trainer. She taught fitness classes and she packed our house with nutrient-dense foods, and for that I am forever grateful. You know, the things that my mom has taught me in terms of nutrition and working out and fitness has been incredible, and I think I am so blessed to be raised in a home that was very educational for me in terms of keeping yourself healthy. I know a lot of people don't grow up that way. I was raised, you know, my mom always had us in the gym. We were always present during her classes. You know, I had such a strong fitness influence in my life growing up, and I think that makes me extremely blessed. I think it also made me extremely aware of fitness and extremely aware of good food and bad food very, very early. Growing up, I was so skinny, like just so skinny. My metabolism was insane, so quick. I did get teased for my body because I was so skinny. I definitely was aware of my body type, and by the time I was like 10, I was already running, I was already doing the things and following the steps of my mom to take care of my body. And I don't think that was necessarily a negative thing. I just think I was hyper aware of fitness and what my body looked like from an early age. I think for me, the imbalance and the destructive behavior and negative influence that fitness and healthy eating started to have on me was when I went through puberty. So I was always extremely skinny, like I had mentioned, and as soon as puberty hit, I just started filling out a little bit. You know, I started just being a little bit less lean, mean fighting machine and had a little more things going on. And what happened in that transitional period for me is that people started to notice. So family members, although I'm sure coming from a very loving, positive place, started to mention that I was filling out and started to say, oh, you know, Gabby, you're finally filling out, like it's great, you're finally putting on some weight. And I don't think I was aware of what that meant, but it was negative for me. I felt like it was a negative thing. I felt like, oh my gosh, I'm gaining weight and everyone's noticing. So in high school, all throughout high school, I worked out. I was in the gym with my mom. I did my thing because I was scared, and I was hyper aware of what I was eating. I was hyper aware of my body. I don't think it was necessarily healthy for a high school child to be so aware and feel the necessity of working out and feel the necessity because I felt like, oh, I'm gaining weight. But the real destructive behavior started when right after high school, I started bikini modeling. And I think that led to a spiral for me. So out of high school, a company reached out to me and wanted me to bikini model. And, you know, looking back, I have no regrets. I think it taught me the most about fitness, about balance, but it definitely sent me into a spiral. Was not eating enough at all. I cut carbs out. I was working out 3 hours a day, 6 days a week, 7 days a week. It was insanity. And I just was obsessive. And that led to me figuring out how to count my calories, count my macros. It just kind of, it was a blur year after year of me just beating up my body, working out because I felt like I wasn't skinny enough, eating so restrictively, and when I did indulge in something, I felt so guilty. Counting my macros. For a lot of my life, I feel like I felt so out of control because of my anxiety and my mental health that this was one thing in my life that I could control. I could control how many calories were entering my body. I could control how much I worked out. I could control how my body looked. And for me, I felt like I just was lacking so much control in my life in terms of my anxiety. And instead of dealing with the root issue, which was anxiety, I controlled my weight. I controlled what went into my mouth. I controlled number tracking. Everywhere I went, I was on my phone, I was tracking, and it was very negative. I had a very unhealthy relationship with food. I categorized everything into good and bad, and I obsessively thought about it. It wasn't until I really settled in about 2 years ago into dealing with my anxiety. And I have other videos on that. I won't get into it. I'll link them down below. But I really dug in and started to work on the root issue, and that was my anxiety. And that allowed me to release control in other areas of my life because I recognized that that's what I was doing it for. I've really separated the two, working out, eating healthy, and my anxiety, and I recognize that I have to deal with those things separately. So I really dug in and dealt with my anxiety and really figured out healthy habits for me and things that help my anxiety. And in that process, I did go through a phase in my life where I was like, nope, I'm done with the gym. Like, I'm done with the gym. I'm gonna eat whatever I want. Like, I am done. I rebelled against it all. I was like, no way. I don't want to do this. So going to one extreme to the next extreme, I dealt only with my anxiety and my focus was completely there, and I stopped working out or obsessively thinking about food. So that led me to, getting into a healthier place habitually with my anxiety. But in working with that, I definitely recognize what was needed in terms of working out and eating healthy for my anxiety. So I guess in the last year, I've really learned how those two worlds work together, how eating healthy, gut health, putting healthy things in my body and working out work together with anxiety, and how those two worlds need to collide. So the last year has really been working on my relationship with working out and food. And to sit here today and tell you that I'm in a healthy place is crazy. I didn't think I would get here, to be honest with you. It started with workouts 3 times a week because people aren't lying to you when they say working out helps your mental health. As much as I wish that they were some days, I do not want to go to the gym. It creates such a balance for me in my mental by going to the gym. So I slowly started to incorporate the gym back into my self-care. And then food was the next thing. I recognize that healthy eating is really good for my mental, and it helps my gut, which in turn helps my anxiety, and eating unhealthy things is also okay. Balance is so important, and I try and live my life by being like, if I want to eat something unhealthy, I will. But I know overall, in the grand scheme of things, I nourish my body, and therefore the things that I eat that are outside of the nourishment are okay. To me, that's just balance. And it's taken me a really long time to get here. It's taken me so long to get to a place of being healthy and happy in the body that I have. I work out now probably about 4 to 5 times a week, and like I said, my focus on my focus is on nourishing my body and less about what's gonna make me gain weight, what's gonna make me lose weight. I try and keep myself very focused on how much nutrients is in every meal. I think those things still linger in my head because I did count macros and calories for so long. I can guess, I can feel myself when I'm having a meal counting, and I'm like, okay, you need to like check out here, how much nutrients is here? What are you getting for your body in this meal? And that's what helps me kind of change my mentality towards it. And there are still hard days. There are still days where I look in the mirror and I'm like, oh, I don't like this, that, and the third about my body, and I want to change this, and that still happens. My self-love journey is still a journey. There's no destination. I have not reached complete and utter self-love. There are still things and moments that I want to change my body, and in those moments I try and slow down and I think about all the things that my body does for me and how hard it allows me to work and the beautiful things it's allowed me to see, and I try and take in inventory of all the things that my body allows me to do, and that oftentimes helps. That to me, I don't look perfect, but my body is beautiful, and I nourish it, and I work out for my mind, and I take care of my body, and that's what matters. So I encourage you to find the balance that's for you. I encourage you to dig into why you do the things you do, why you work out, or why you eat a certain way. And if you can figure out your why, it changes everything. You know, I figured out that my why for working out is not my body, it's my mental health. And my why for eating nutrients dense food is not so that I have a six-pack, it's so that my mental can be more clear. I did want to share my story, and I hope that one of you guys can relate to it, or it helps you in some way. Please share your views on fitness and eating healthy and the industry, or your journey, or anything down below. I think we all need to encourage each other because the pressure to be perfect is insane, and loving your body is such a rebellious act. One woman at a time, you know, rebelling and loving their bodies and themselves just the way they are is so important. I love you guys so much. Thank you for letting me talk through my journey. I hope it helps. It's difficult for me to talk about only because it has been such a long, hard journey, and to fit it into like such a small video is interesting to try and do. And I'm definitely sweating right now, so yeah. I hope this video helps you guys. I love you so much, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys. Did I ramble? Did I ramble? I have a tendency to ramble.